ever had to help an animal? Back on Sodor, my friends have often helped animals in need. Like when Philip had to stop Gordon because the sheep were in danger on the line. Or when Diesel helped a family of ducklings get back to their pond. In the rainforest, I wasn't very sensitive to the animals at first. I kept forgetting not to be too noisy and to move around carefully. But when the bushfire started, I helped to rescue them. I learned that animals should be protected and respected. After all, they share our home here on planet Earth. So if you're a duckling, a sheep, or a funny little bear, I mean a koala, don't worry. I'll always keep a place for you on my coaches.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time. Do you ever find it difficult when things change? Or you have to get used to something new? I know sometimes I do. When Hugo first came to Sodor, we weren't very kind to him. We had never seen an engine like him before. But once we got to know him, we realized that he was actually very nice. Gordon was very unhappy that both Edward and Henry were leaving the sheds, and that Nia was going to be sleeping there instead. But in the end, he realized that changing where they slept didn't need to change their friendship. And he could even be friends with Nia too. Sometimes, all it takes is a little time to get used to something new. And before you know it, it almost feels like it's always been that way.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time. Have you ever looked really carefully, hoping to see something? Sometimes, while looking for one thing, you spot a whole lot of other things you didn't expect to see. Stephen was looking for a way out of Ulfstead Mine when he found something else. Treasure! And when I was in China, nobody expected to see a giant panda in the wild. I kept seeing other animals. But I'm glad I didn't give up looking, because eventually I spotted some giant pandas. Some animals need our help so they can live happy lives, even in the wild. There are many things you can do to help, but the easiest and best thing you can do is find out all about them.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time! It can be hard for animals to find places to live when there are so many people around all the time. I remember when Luke made friends with a young deer. But the quarry was far too noisy for the little thing. The peace and quiet of the Ulfstead Castle grounds was a much better home for the deer. Rajiv and I both wanted to see a tiger. And so did a lot of other people. But the tigers didn't really want to be seen, and it wasn't always a good idea for people to find them either. Sometimes, the best way to help animals live happily and in peace is by leaving them and their homes alone.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time! Have you ever helped to look after an animal? Maybe you have a pet at home or at school in your classroom. Luke once found a little deer who was scared by all the noise at the quarry. So he brought it to a place that was safe and quiet. One winter, I brought some animals to Tidmouth Sheds to keep warm. All the engines helped. Even James warmed to the idea.
Here, chickie, chickie, chick. Come to Uncle James. Oh, how cute.
Looking after animals is important and can be fun. Think about the animals around you and what they need to be safe and happy. Maybe you can find a way to help.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time! Sometimes we throw things away that can still be really useful. Reg loves finding ways of reusing old scrap. One year, he even made himself a Christmas tree from scrap. And Duck is good at reusing things too. When the school at Harwick was damaged in a storm, Duck went looking for a coach to take the children to another school. He found poor Dexter abandoned on a siding. It was Duck's idea to turn the old coach into a classroom, which meant Dexter was really useful again. So before you decide to throw something away, stop and ask yourself, what would Reg do? And see if it could be repaired, recycled, or reused.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time! How do you feel when someone teases you? Once, Gordon made fun of Henry for being afraid of a few drops of rain. That hurt Henry's feelings. Another time, Samson called Millie a silly little engine. That made Millie feel cross. It can feel horrible when somebody says something mean about you. When I stood up for Rosie at the docks, Bill and Ben and Diesel all made fun of me. I felt silly and upset, and that made me act in a bad way towards Rosie. I shouldn't have listened to them and their silly teasing. Sticking up for your friends is a good thing, not something to make fun of. And I'm very happy that Rosie is my friend.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time! Have you and your friends ever had a race? Racing can be fun, but sometimes I get so caught up in trying to win that I forget about what else is important. Once, James and I were having a race to the football ground. We were so busy racing, we forgot to pick up some of the players. That wasn't very useful. When I met Hong Mei, the #1 tank engine on the Chinese railway, we just had to have a race. I wanted to win and prove I could go faster than Hong Mei. But in the end, it was more important that we were friends. They may write numbers differently in China, but Hong Mei and I, we can both be #1.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time! Sometimes it's easy to feel jealous of someone else's talents. Emily thought Caitlin was amazing. She wished she had Caitlin's speed and streamlining. But then one day, Emily used her strong buffers to save Caitlin. And she realized that Caitlin thought she was amazing too. I thought Isla was incredible, and I got upset that she was quicker at getting to emergencies than I was. But then, I discovered that my strong and sturdy frame meant I was perfect for rescuing people during a cyclone. I may not be a doctor or a doctor's plane, but in the end, I was just the right vehicle for the job. Everyone has something they are good at.
Come on, Thomas!
It's time to go.
See you next time!